So here we're gonna check for ABS light and the depth that doesn't, this one doesn't have it. You turn on and off. Then we're also gonna check our mirror. Remember how that trailer had that amber light in the back? That's your ABS for your trailer.
Okay.
So we're also checking for the ABS light. See how right now, when I turn the key, you see the primary gauge? That's at 112. So that's where we're gonna bleed out the service brake.
Okay.
Just press on it until it hits 80. Once it hits 80, we can put a little bit more. Once it hits 80, now we can put our foot on the clutch, start the engine. We're gonna come off that clutch slowly just in case we made a mistake that we didn't check to see if it was in neutral. So all we do is come slowly because you know if it's in gear, it's gonna stall. So we don't want that because if you stall your truck, that's an automatic fail. So remember, air brakes is pass or fail. Anything you say or do and don't correct yourself, it's an automatic fail. But I'll go over some others. I'll be asking you some questions and then you tell me if it's right or wrong. But I'm gonna do this like two times. So on page, is the page 37?
Yes.
So on page 37, after you do your safe start and you tell them where you're gonna give all the readings, what's the name of the first test?
Governor cutout.
So we're gonna perform the governor cutout, and all we're gonna tell them is that our governor should cut out between 120 and no higher than 140, and we're gonna rev it between 1200 and 1500 RPMs. So that's all we're gonna do on the first governor cutout. We're gonna rev this engine.
That was the governor cutout. Yes.
Yeah, so it hissed. So we're gonna say our needle stabilized at 129. This is a good reading because it happened where?
Between the 120 and 140.
Now you see where it says low cab? So that means we're gonna secure our truck first. So the L is to put it in a gear, low gear. The O is to turn it off. The C is to come off the clutch. The A is to set it back to auxiliary. Remember, only the key. And B is to release the two brake knobs. So we're gonna put it in low, this is the low cab. Put on the clutch, first gear, okay? Once we put it in first gear, we're gonna turn it off now. Once it completely turns off, we come off the clutch. Now we're gonna go ahead and set the key back to auxiliary, because watch, it goes back to 0, and we wanna continue reading those gauges. So we're gonna turn on the key. Okay, remember, if you don't turn the key and you release the brakes and you turn around and you see it's 0, that doesn't mean you failed. Just go ahead and turn the key. Okay. Now the next step would be to release the two brake knobs. Okay, while this is hissing, we're gonna tell our examiner that we're gonna perform what test now?
Apply air leakage.
How we're gonna perform this test? We're gonna hold down what?
Service brake.
For how long?
No more than 4 psi.
No, we're gonna hold it down for 1 minute,
1 minute.
and we cannot lose more than 4 psi.
Okay.
Okay? So once it stops hissing and your needle settles, and it already did it, I'm gonna go ahead and step on the service brake. So we're gonna hold it down. Again, we're gonna wait till the needle settles. Once the needle settles, we're gonna give a reading and we're gonna start our time. It doesn't matter if you use your watch or your phone. So right there, I'm gonna say 79. Okay, because it's not right on the line. 79, my minute starts now. Remember, you cannot start your time and then give a reading. You have to give the reading first and then start your time.
Okay.
Because sometimes those examiners, they have a timer, and as soon as you say my minute starts, and then they're timing also, and if you go less than a minute, they're gonna fail you. Okay.
So you said read the PSI and then count in minutes.
So you're gonna give them the reading, right?
Okay.
And then start your time. You could use your phone, your watch or your phone. Once 30 seconds go by, you're telling your examiner you're listening for air leaks outside the truck and inside the truck, the cab, sorry. And if you don't hear no air leaks, you say, I hear no air leaks. Once the minute is up, you're gonna tell your examiner, my minute is up, my reading is. So you're not gonna come off the service brake right away once your minute is up, because they're gonna come real close to you, almost kissing you, to make sure you're giving them that right reading. So right now my reading is at 70, 78. Looks like 78. That means I lost how much?
1 PSI.
1 psi.
1 PSI.
This is a what? A good test because I did not lose more than 4 psi. So they checked. Now I can come off the service brake.
Which one was we looking at?
The first one,
primary.
Right.
Primary gauge. So now we're gonna go to the next one, which is what?
Low air warning.
For our lower warning, we're gonna say that we're going to pump on the service brake until the light or buzzer come on. So depending on the trucks, this one only has a light, so I'm gonna say the light when it comes out. Other ones have both light and buzzer. Other ones just have buzzer, so it just depends. So for this lower warning, we're gonna say that we're gonna pump on the service brake until the light or buzzer come on. This should happen what? No lower than
55.
so underline no lower than 55. So this one you're gonna do slow. You're gonna step, release, and you wanna catch it as soon as it happens, not when your needle settles, okay? Right there. Happened right at 60. It was right on that line. So we're gonna say my light came on at 60. This is a good test because it happened where?
Lower than 55.
No lower than 55 psi. Now what's
So
the
if it happens under 55,
then you know it's wrong, right?
okay.
And you probably, now if I was you guys, I would say, can I just go ahead and start this? That's why on the lower warning, we're gonna step, release, step, release. We don't wanna go too fast because then it's gonna go a lot lower than 50. And then they're gonna say, well, you know, if they didn't catch it on time. So that's why you do step, release, and you make sure you're looking at your primary gauge. Now, what's the name of the next test?
Spring brake pop out.
Spring brake pop out. How are we going to perform this test? We're going to continue pumping on the service brake until our parking and trailer brake pops out. This should happen between what?
Between 20 and 45 PSI.
So this time we're going to do a lot quicker, okay, for this one. And we're looking at the knobs. This is where the students were failing because they were looking at their gauges, and then sometimes one will pop out and they didn't realize it, and then they will pull the other one. Now they fell because they pulled on it. So remember, we're gonna do this one a lot quicker. So, it's,
before we start, say if only one pops out, do we keep pumping the brakes until both?
so one pops out, turn around, give them a reading, then you're gonna tell them that you're gonna continue until your parking brake pops out. Once it happens, turn around and give them a reading. This one leaks a lot of air, so it's gonna, the readings are gonna be off. Okay. Remember, for this one, we're looking at our knobs. Oh, they came out at the same time.
Yeah.
So this one happened at 20. This is a good test because it happened between what? 20 and 45 psi.
So it's right on the line.
Right on the line on this time.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes lower, so that's why you would tell us here on the test for us that when we practice, if it happens at, let's say 19, that's a bad test because it should be between 20 and 45. Now, what's the name of the next test?
Governor
cutout.
We're gonna do a second governor cutout. Okay, so we're gonna put our foot on the clutch, start the engine, make sure we take it out of gear. Okay, right there, see? And now we're gonna come off the clutch slowly. Just remember, always do the clutch slowly. See, let's say I left it in gear, and if you do it slowly, you're gonna catch it. Watch. It's gonna try to stop. Okay, so then you catch it, and then you don't fail because you caught it. So we're gonna take it out. We're gonna come off that clutch slowly, and we're gonna perform the second governor cutout, and this should happen between what? The same as the first one.
120 and 140?
120, no higher than 140. On this one, we're gonna go over the gauges on the dashboard. So it doesn't matter if you start from left to right or right to left. Some of these will be points. So for instance, your coolant reservoir, that's a point. So you're gonna say the coolant should be between 180 and no higher than 200 degrees. Oil pressure is another point. That one should be between 30 and 60 psi. So if you always remember the 60, half of that is 30. 30 and 60 psi. Your voltmeter is a point. This one, you can't see it. So on the trucks that go to DMV, they're digital. So you're gonna say the voltmeter is digital, and you're just gonna read it out. It's, let's say 13.9, 14.1, wherever it's at. primary and secondary is only 1 point. So you're gonna say my primary and secondary gauge are rising, okay? And they should be between 120 and no higher than 140. They're working properly. Your RPMs, you're just gonna rev it, okay? Speedometer, you're gonna demonstrate once you're in motion. Your fuel and depth, I know it probably doesn't have it there, but they didn't have it on the other one, and they kept telling me to tell you guys to go ahead and say it. So your fuel and your depth, you have enough for your next trip. Remember, you guys cannot say gas, so you're gonna say fuel. Okay? Fuel and depth, you have enough for your next trip. Okay? So we're going to review them again. Your coolant temperature should be where?
Between 180 and 200.
Degrees. Oil pressure should be where?
30 and 60 psi.
And then your voltmeter on the other trucks is digital, so it will be 12 and 14, and the other ones are digital, so you would just read it.
We have to say between, like, the variance before we say the actual one. So say, for example, the coolant right now is, we'll just say it's at 190. We'll say the coolant needs to be between 180 and 200. Our current coolant is 190.
That's up to you if you want to read it. If you
Okay,
wanna
we don't have to
tell-
read it, we just have to tell them that
you
it's
just tell
between.
them,
Okay.
They just want us to know if
The
we know the
Where
ranges.
Ranges, yes. And then we're gonna go to the. Yes, I said the voltmeter. Then we're gonna go primary, secondary. We're gonna say that it's rising, right? And it should be where?
Between 120 and 140.
And it's working properly. RPMs, we're just gonna rev it. Speedometer, we're gonna demonstrate once we move forward. And then your fuel and depth, you have enough for your trip.
That's all we have to say too.
That's all.
Okay.
So right now we still have a little bit more, so I can fill the tanks, so I can go ahead and rev it up again. Okay. That was me. I should have let it go. That was us. So we're gonna say the governor cut out at 129. This is a good test because it happened where?
Between 120 and 140.
If you notice, this time I said a test. And on the very first one, I didn't say test. I just said my needle stabilized that, and this is a good reading because it happened between 120 no higher than 140. Now, what's the name of the next test?
Brake test.
The brake test.
Parking, trailer, and service.
So we're going to do the parking, the trailer, and the service brake. These two will be tugs, and the service, we're going to move forward. Okay? So we're going to put our foot on the clutch, put it in gear, and we're going to start with the tugs. So it doesn't matter which one we do first. If I release my trailer brake, that means I have no brakes on the trailer, but I have the brakes on the parking. That means I'm gonna test the parking brakes. So slowly we're gonna start coming off the clutch until we feel the tug. Slowly, and then you feel the tug. Right there. Okay? So we're gonna say parking brakes are holding, or working, whatever you wanna say. We're gonna make sure we have brakes, so I gotta make sure I apply. Now I'm gonna release the parking brake, so that means I'm tugging on what?
Trailer.
Trailer, because this is the one that has the brake right now. So we're gonna do the same procedure. Slowly start coming off the clutch till we feel that tug. Right there.
That's enough tug? Okay, we don't have to be like a big tug?
No, that's
Okay.
fine. As long as you move a little bit. Then you're gonna say your trailer brakes are holding. Now we're gonna do our motion. We're gonna tell them that we're gonna move forward 5 feet at 5 miles per hour. We're gonna make sure that our truck is not pulled to the right or to the left. So in order for me to do the motion, do I release the trailer brakes?
Yes.
That would be a
What was that?
fail.
Wait, what was that?
So in order for me to move forward, do I just release the trailer brake?
Are we attached to a trailer?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
So that will cost
Oh
me.
no. I remember the test now.
No, I have to have brakes.
Oh, okay.
So I have to make sure I have brakes, because remember how I told you we always have to have a brake, either or? So this time I have to have brakes here because I'm going to move forward, and now I can release the last brake. Okay. So we're going to check our mirrors. Make sure you tell your examiner. I'm checking my mirrors, making sure there's no pedestrians or obstructions around my truck. Hover over your steering wheel. Now we're going to come off the service brake, slowly off the clutch, and you will just count. Because there is not enough room over there. You're gonna count. 1, come on, truck. 2, 3, 4, 5. Clutch and brake. Okay? So you're gonna say my service brakes are holding or they're working. Now we're gonna secure our truck, set the brakes first. If you notice, if I pull the yellow, automatically the red one comes out. Okay? But if I pull the red one, then I have to do it individually. Then we're gonna take it out of gear and we're gonna come off the service brake and then the clutch. And now we're gonna start the in cap. Okay? So I'm gonna turn it off so you guys can hear me. Over there, you're gonna leave it on because once you finish this, we're gonna take you to do your maneuvers. Okay? So I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna go over the in cap. So I don't know if it continues there on the in cap. I don't know if they have it right there anywhere there. No? No?
The in-cap is in the beginning, I think.
Oh, it is? Okay, but I'll give you my notes, okay?
Yeah, in-cap is in the beginning, on page 15.
Okay. So what I do, I usually go WWW. That way you guys are not going to forget. Windshield. The windshield securely mounted, not cracked or broken, no illegal stickers. If it does have a chip, you can say it has a chip, but it's not interfering with my vision. Weather stripping is secure all around. That prevents air and water to come in. Now we're going to do the windshield wipers. They're not cracked or broken. The rubber has good contact with the windshield. And then we're going to mention that there's no debris that will scratch my windshield. Now we're going to demonstrate the windshield washer. This one doesn't have it. You just hear the motor. Now some of the students tell me, well, the other trucks, sometimes they don't have it. If they don't have it, just say, I will add it in my next stop. Okay? Because imagine every day those trucks are there all day long. From 6 to around 4. So while the students are going, they're probably demonstrating, and then they forget to put washer fluid. The next thing would be our mirrors. So if you have more than these 2 mirrors, you're going to point at the other mirrors. So you're going to say the mirrors are securely mounted, not cracked or broken, no illegal stickers, all hardware is present, and it's properly adjusted for me. Horns, those are points. So you're going to demonstrate your city horn and your country, or you could call it highway horn. Then you're going to go to your turn signals again. Left turn signal, right turn signal doesn't work on this truck. 4-way flashers, and you're probably saying, why are we doing the lights again? Now they want to see if it works inside. Okay. Remember how you did it with the examiner? He or she checked everything outside. Then here on this one click would be your tractor lights and trailer lights. One more click will be your headlights on the front. Then you're going to do high beam. One more time, low beam. Okay? If you have another set here, that means you have fog lights. Okay? The next thing will be your heater and defroster. Remember, it's heater and defroster to get the 1 point. So you will put it in defrost, and then you will touch the top, and you will say the defroster is working properly. Then you will put it in the red for hot, and you will say that your heater is working properly. Touch the vents also. The last thing will be your emergency equipment. So you have to mention 3 things in order to get 1 point. Spare fuses are always on the top, and then there's a red box, and then you're just going to point at it, and you're going to say the 3 triangle reflectors are not cracked or broken, and they stand up on their own. So if you have a issue with your truck, you have to set them up. Okay. Then the fire extinguisher is fully rated. It extinguishes A, B, and C fires. It's current and up to date. And usually it's behind your. Yes.
You have your driver's license on you?
Yes. And then, so that's it. That's the in cap. So those are all points. Okay. So in total, you have a total of 10 points. So I'm going to do it one more time, probably 2 more times, because after a while I'm going to ask you some questions on this, okay? So on the safe start is what? What's the safe start?
Both the parking emergency brake.
So you're going to pull on these brakes. So just remember, once your examiner finish outside your truck that they're doing all the lights, they're going to come inside. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to talk about that seatbelt. Has no cuts, no rips, latches and no latches. Make sure you keep it on. Okay. Then you're going to tell them always say the name of the test, how you're going to perform the test, and the ranges of each test. Okay. So when you're gonna start, you're gonna do a safe start. Safe start is making sure my brakes are applied. It's in neutral, key only. So number 1, number 2, and key number 3.
Okay.
Once you turn that key, we're looking for ABS, and this one doesn't have a depth that turns on and off. Also, we're checking our trailer for the ABS light turns